Hello friends, it's your girl again, Steph. Good luck. If this is your first time on my channel, please subscribe, like, and leave a beautiful comment. So let's dive right into our budget-friendly banga soup or stew, as many would call it. So I've washed my banga here and it's boiling. I need this mortar, pistol, and this big bowl to be able to pound and to extract my oil from the banga. Note, the reason for boiling your banga is to make it soft. For starters, when it is boiling and you can't tell whether or not it is soft, just bring out one and have a taste. But ordinarily, it doesn't take much time to become soft, say about 10 to 15 minutes, depending on the quantity you are cooking. So now we have our soft banga. The next stage is the tedious stage, where you have to flex your muscles. This brings us to the point where we have to start pounding. So for you to extract the flesh, which is what we need for our banga stew, you have to be able to pound this carefully. You don't break the palm kernel. What we are trying to do here, we're trying to extract this oil from the palm kernel. This is the banga, this is the flesh. So you apply a little pressure, but not pressure enough to break the palm kernel. Even though while pounding, some of the kernels will break, it's fine, but don't pound with so much pressure to pieces the whole kernel, so you won't enjoy yourself while extracting the oil. So you keep pounding until you're sure you've taken out all the flesh from this kernel before you can move over to the next stage of extracting. It will be a total waste to extract while you still have some flesh on the kernel. You can see I also have some broken kernels. That's because of the pressure I applied. Now our kernel is totally reviewed, and the next thing after pounding is extracting our oil or banga, and you must use warm water. We are working with palm oil, so it's a must to use warm water. So pour the hot water into the banga and dilute until you can tolerate the water temperature. As you can see what I'm doing here, I'm trying to dilute mine because it's too hot and I can't tolerate it, since I'll be working with my hand to extract this oil. See my little beautiful palm kernel, I ate it though. So now I am extracting the oil, and please always do this before you sieve. Don't just go straight to sieve. This allows you get enough out of the palm fruit, and also it can pass for double filtration to avoid these chaffs into your pot. So I love this consistency that you put your banga on fire and then go ahead to prep your other ingredients, like what I am doing here. So I washed my fish for 3 to 4 times to make sure it's neat, and then this brings me to telling you the ingredients I used for this wonderful recipe. So I have my washed stockfish and dried catfish. I have ogiri, which is like the main ingredient needed for ofe-akwu. So the one you see me hold is sold for 100 naira. I was supposed to use all of it, but I'll be making onubo soup, that's bitter leaf soup, later. And this is my last cup of ogiri. That's why I divided it. So feel free to use the whole cup. I don't like putting ogiri directly into my food. That's why you see me dissolving it. And to dissolve it, just put a little water and stir to make a paste. Leaf, though my scent leaves are not fresh anymore. Then this is grounded crayfish, this is grounded pepper, fresh pepper. I love fresh pepper in my banga stew. This is pomo, is cow skin. I've washed it, it's neatly washed, but I've not cooked it yet. So this is my seasoning cube, this is the meat I'll be using, this is salt. Don't mind this thing. This meat I had earlier cooked it, it was in the freezer, so I just brought it out and scooped out this little amount. Then these are my fishes. I showed you how to wash it. Then this is, I had already cut it before remembering that I have not made a video of it. I just use, you can choose to, this is a powder, Benny powder chicken flavored stock. You can choose to use it or do without it, but I just love adding because, so this is all I'll be needing for this recipe. So I'll show you how to introduce them one after the other, but first so I'll be adding the pomo to my banga. Remember, I put it on fire for it to thicken a little. So I have a teenager at home who loves his pomo very, not like very strong, but he likes it strong, so that when he eats it, it feels like a little crunchy in his mouth. So that is why I did not parboil my pomo. The next ingredient I'll be introducing is my ogiri. You can see I've poured the dissolved ogiri into my banga. This is because my banga has thickened a little. Now I allowed it to boil a little. I was washing off my plate because I cannot let that little particles of ogiri go in vain. So after introducing my ogiri, I allowed it to boil a little, and then I put in my fresh pepper. After my fresh pepper, the next thing I'll be adding is my crayfish. Our banga is almost ready. This is very easy to cook. It's just the process of pounding that takes time. Now I introduced my crayfish. I don't like putting my crayfish all at once in any meal I cook. I introduce it bit by bit because I feel like crayfish gives food, this nice flavor and taste. So I have put some in it, and I remain the one I'll put at the end of my cooking. Now I put my salt because this is palm oil. We are working with a lot of salt, so it can come out. But while putting your salt, make sure you taste so you don't over put the salt. I didn't even put the whole salt in that spoon. So this is it, what I have here. Then the next is for me to put my meat, because I'd already cooked my meat, so I put my meat, and then my stock cubes goes inside next, and then my Benny seasoning chicken flavor goes into it. Remember, this is very optional, so this is just my preference. And then I tested, and it was okay. There's no adjustment needed. And then I put in my fish. This is because I don't want the fish to get scattered, so I love to see it, and I love it a little hard. So that's why I put my fish like towards the tail end of my cooking. Then I covered my pot and allowed it boil for some time, and then I introduced my not so fine looking scent leaf. Then remember that crayfish I introduced it because we are done cooking, and I stirred my food, and then I covered and allowed it to boil a little. So this is what it looks like after a few minutes. The whole thing has married together. You see how thick it is. I love this consistency for my ofe-akwu, not too watery and not too thick. And that is it. Thank you all for watching till this point. I hope you enjoyed our video. Bye and love you.